Alright, welcome back, Agiteers. So this is the third video in a series regarding the Yoga 6 that I purchased. It is a 13.3 inch screen with a Ryzen 7 5700U. It has 16 gigabytes of RAM and it has a 512 gigabyte SSD installed, which is upgradable. So we're to the point now, we've done an unboxing and installation of Fedora, and the next video we did was to get Wi-Fi working, which we've done, and it is working. So if you get a chance, I recommend you go check it out, because it really will help you understand what we're doing here in this video, and it won't seem like you're in the middle of everything. So I made myself a handy dandy list here of things that I think should be done. This list actually is not my own. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. I cobbled it together from several different lists that various authors had made regarding Fedora 37 and things you should do after you install. So I will put these URLs in the video, and I do I do recommend you go check it out, because there are several things in here that I'm not going to do. One of the reasons is, of course, I am currently running the KDE spin of Fedora, so I do not have GNOME installed, and there's a lot of GNOME tools and other things that you can use that I will not be using. So without further ado, I wanted to show you some of the things that I've already done. So let's change directory real quick to etc DNF, and we're going to look at dnf.conf. I showed this in the previous video, but I thought I'd go ahead and show it again. So the things that I added, I'm not sure what that's all about. Anyway, skip if unavailable equals true, max parallel downloads equals 10, fastest mirror equals true, delta params equals true, and I'm excluding the kernel right now because I had to compile new drivers so that I could get Wi-Fi working. So the drivers that I compiled were for Wi-Fi. These here are supposed to speed things up a little bit. As far as when you run DNF, which is what you use for doing updates. I'm not sure what this is about. Let's do a quick little look. DNF best equals false. That seems to be... Okay, sorry for the delay here. Did a little searching on this. I really am quite rusty when it comes to command line in Linux, but it looks like when you set the option as false, transactions are not limited to only the best candidates, and I can only assume that means packages. So I'm going to leave it the way it is because it's still working quite well. So why change something? Q&A, can a default of the best configuration option overwritten easily and permanently by use? Main best equals false. Right now when DNF runs in best equals 0 or false mode, if a package cannot be upgraded due to dependency problems, it is skipped and a warning is printed in the transaction summary table. However, this poses a risk of important security fixes being overlooked by the user in case they are broken for some reason, such as due to a repository misconfiguration or inconsistency. So I'm going to leave that alone. I think that will be fine. The install only limit here, if you're wondering, is for the kernel. So install up to 3 kernels and then erase the oldest one and put a newer kernel on. Alright, so let's get out of here. So we've seen that. System update. Let's see if there's any updates that need to be done. Sudo dnf update. So, well, you know, that's an update. All right, yeah, sure, why not? We're going to update that package. Everything is up to date except for the kernel. There may be a new kernel. It usually comes out quite frequently. So I'm going to do sudo bash so I don't have to keep typing in my password. And okay, so that is, let's see if we can't get this a little larger for you. Here we go. Update the system. I have already done install their RPM repositories, so it's actually not too difficult. It's simply a sudo dnf command, and we're looking for the actual RPM, which you can download right from their website if you want, and just double click it and you can install it. So you don't have to use this particular sudo command, dnf command I should say, to get these installed. But there are two. There are free and there is non-free. So I've done both of those. I have not improved the battery life by installing TLP. So let's go ahead and grab that. And you know what? As much as I like typing in all these commands, TLP is a really great program. So right now I'm on the charger. Oops, that's not what I want. Battery at 99%. I would like to also point out this battery charges so incredibly fast. I really like it. Anyway, TLP is a package that will help you essentially get the maximum battery life that you can get out of your system. And there's really no configuration changes you need to make. You can if you want, but what you get out of the box is usually sufficient. All right, so we've installed that package. We've done an update. I have not installed the media plugins, I believe. So let's grab those. Oops. I definitely don't want to type in, hey, stop that, this entire command. So we shall paste it in, see if it works. And it does. So these are all the plugins for certain types of video codecs or audio codecs. And you'll notice they say plugins bad free. So that means it's a free plugin. It's not, there's not something wrong with it, but it isn't open source, if you follow what I'm saying. All right, we'll click next. Zoom. And while we're waiting for that, we'll grab the next. Lame. I used to be familiar with Lame, but it's been so long since I've done a fresh install. I can't remember what it is. I'm going to go with it's another codec. All right. Success there. So we are going to install Lame Devo, excluding Lame development actually, just Lame. All right. And let's see, we're going to upgrade with optional media. See what happens. Okay, so there are some upgrades to do. 45 megabytes should be pretty quick. Those setting changes we made to dnf.conf are definitely helping out, because it's not that it was all too awfully slow, but it is really much, much faster. Already installed VirtualBox. I haven't installed QBitTorrent, Steam. I don't know why I listed Steam there twice. So let's grab this. And by the way, the -y means don't wait for me, just go ahead and do it. That wasn't quite what I had in mind. We'll just grab that. And we're going to paste it in. We'll get rid of that second version of Steam. We are on OBS Studio right now. And VirtualBox and VLC are installed. We're going to talk about VirtualBox in just a second. So let's see if these two packages install okay. I want to install Steam because I want to do a game test. You know, this isn't a gaming laptop by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought it'd be fun to throw a couple games at it and see how well it does. My guess is, you know, it's not going to be all that great, but that's okay. All right, next, I'm going to install some tools for unzip, P7 zip, and the plugins, and unrar, because you never know when you have to unzip or unrar a package. So let's go ahead and put that in. Notice I'm still using sudo in front of the commands, but I've already sudoed as bash. So what that basically means when we type sudo bash is I have root access and it will not change until I type exit and leave that particular bash shell. Okay, another tool that I like is IOTop. So I wanted to see how well I was getting data transfers between an SSD and a thumb drive, and I think I had a portable HDD and an SSD because I just wanted to make sure things were going smoothly. Whoops, that would be a mistake. Let's paste it. So I did a little research and I found this program called IOTop that I really like. Basically, if we run it, you get, it's kind of like Top, right? It shows you what disk reads are happening, total, and the disk writes, current disk write, what particular programs are reading and writing the most. Not much going on right now, of course, because we're not doing a transfer between two drives. So I really like this tool. I did Q for quit, and I exited out. And display scaling is one thing I really like about KDE. Let me show you some of these things I've done before, and this is one of them. Here is display scaling. So it's very Windows-like. You can scale, you know, if I wanted to, let's go to 200 just so you see. Well, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm afraid that if I do that, it may disrupt my video capture on OBS. But anyway, yes, you can make the text much larger if you want. In this case, I'm using 140 seems to work well for me, but you can get it much larger, or if you want, you can go down to 100 and the text would be absolutely tiny. This is good enough for me to see. I'm going to discard my changes. And I want to show you the mouse settings that I did. I've done quite a few now, actually. Right now I'm using a Bluetooth mouse. No, that's not what I want. I wanted mouse. So I've made quite a few changes here. Number one, the pointer speed, this thing was flying across the screen. It was like up here. So I just kept testing and testing. And once I got here, it seemed very natural. Scrolling speed seems to be just fine right now. I may slow it down a little bit in the future. And the touchpad, 0 pointer acceleration. Was there anything else I did? Yes. Interesting. Tap and drag. I might turn that off. I'm going to turn that off. That may be the problem I'm having, where the trackpad thinks that I've tapped and I'm dragging on top of it. I want tap to click. That's the one I turned on. And of course, scrolling speed, similar to the mouse. So when you're scrolling through a website or whatever, it only goes so fast. So I could, if I wanted to, slow this down a little bit more, which I think I will, and I'll apply that and close it. Let's save general appearance till later. What if we wanted to change the host name? Well, first of all, let me show you what my host name is. So the transient host name is Fedora. I believe I set that, and I'm not going to change it. You know, in the future I may change it, but let me just give you an example here. Let's go ahead and pop the whole command in there. We'll get this part. Why not? Let's do it. Paste in and a space, and we'll put KDE Yoga 6. Alright, I went too far up. Here it is right here, our current host name. So I ran the command hostname ctl, and it shows me that the host name static is now KDE Yoga 6. That would help me more than just Fedora, because all my systems are Fedora around here. Okay, I installed VirtualBox, and it was a wee bit of a chore, so I wanted to show you what I did. This how-to really does help, and we'll paste that in. Entree. So this is from Linux Nightly, and this person doesn't look like we've got an author. Explains how to install VirtualBox on Fedora 37. It's really not that awful complicated. Just follow each of the steps. Of course, we need dev tools, and you need the kernel headers and kernel devel, DKMS, and so on, so that we can compile the driver for KDE, or excuse me, for VirtualBox. Or it might be compiling the entire VirtualBox. Probably is. Here we're adding the VirtualBox repository, and if you don't know what a repository is, it's basically a holding place for various software and source code. In this case, it is the repo or repository for VirtualBox. And we're going to put this in. We're using the cat command, and we're going to dump this right into etc yum repos.d, and it'll call it virtualbox.repo. Then the next thing I did was search for VirtualBox, which I skipped this command initially. Shame. You don't want to do that. So the reason I say is because it sets the key. So it sets your GPG key, and we want that. And then do a sudo DNF. Don't just put VirtualBox, put the version that you want to install. And of course, finally, run VirtualBox. And for those who are not aware, VirtualBox is a system you can use to virtualize a computer on a computer. So it's very handy. And here I was saying I had a problem, so I had to use the specific command VirtualBox-7.0 x86-64, and that worked fine for me. I probably was trying to do just VirtualBox. You can install other desktop environments. I'm not going to do that on this system because I have KDE installed. I want to keep it relatively lean. I don't really feel that I need any other versions here. So you can install different desktop environments. As an example here on the docs for Fedora project, you do a group list here, and we're going to go ahead and do that. Let me copy that, and we will paste it in. Could have probably typed this command. It's not like it's that awful big. Okay, so these are all the different group groups that we can install. You know, they're more than just desktop environments, so you have to look through them. Let's see, Mate. So there are different desktop environments that you can install. Here's the GNOME desktop environment. Graphical Internet. Well, we already have that. Deepin. So there's a ton there. And to install it is really quite straightforward. So you do DNF install and you do the @ symbol, and then it's KDE desktop, for example, if we wanted to install KDE, which we already have, or you could make it GNOME or whatever you wanted to. Or you could use the full name in the group install command. Either one works. And it helps you understand how to switch between desktop environments. And I'm going to save this and put it in my list of helpful URLs, which I will put in the info down below on this video. So essentially that's what I usually do. I wonder, I don't think I installed GIMP. Let's find out. Uh-oh, skip broken. There's a problem, Houston. We're going to try skip broken and see if that helps us. All right, so it is not going to let us do the installation. And it looks like let's see if we can figure out what it's actually saying. None of the providers can be installed, requires Python 2. I love it. Python 2 requires Red Hat-RPM-config, and I'm pretty sure I installed GCC. And kind of the same thing here. What would happen? I don't think. Now here it's saying it's going to install 2 versions. Interesting. Now remember, I do have kernels set to filter out. So we are going to turn that off temporarily and see if it helps us at all. Change directory etc DNF. By default, this is pretty small. I'll have to fix that. And we will edit dnf.conf. And I'm going to cruise down here and I'm going to put a £. Well, I mean, I will be putting a £sign after I go into insert mode, and then escape. And we'll write and quit. Right, quit, bang. Ugh, I'm not allowed. One of those times when I should become sudo, right? Let's try quit bang. Okay, so let's sudo bash. All right. Now vidnf.conf. And we'll put a £. And we will, I hate when this happens. Write and quit. There we go. Okay, let's try this one more time and see if it works. And yes, it does. There are times when you exclude certain packages, it will not function correctly. So you may have to go in and turn that off, at least temporarily. All right, let's see if it works. We'll just type in GIMP, launch it. All right, of course, we need to go a little bit larger here. Seems like everything is working great with GIMP. Can we... All right. What do we got here? Clone tool. So many tools. Paintbrush. Interesting. Not sure why it's not painting. Maybe a new layer? New layer. There we go. Hooray. So GIMP seems to be working fine. I'm debating on whether I want to install Kdenlive. I think I will. Almost a gigabyte. A gigabyte. An actual gigabyte. I don't know. I really don't plan on using this as a video editor, so for right now I'm going to say no. And if we go over here, we can have a look at home and properties. And so our entire storage space is 321 gigabytes. We've only used 2% with all that stuff we've installed, so I guess it would be okay. We're going to go ahead and do it. I wonder if it'll take -y at the end. We'll find out. -y, of course, means yes. Answer yes to any questions, and it'll just go ahead and do the installation. Anyway, the next thing I was going to talk about was changing the settings, the graphical settings, making it more pretty, if you will. So normally I don't like the default graphics settings here, like the toolbar and title bar and all that, but I think it's fine, and I don't even mind the light color. But if we wanted to, we could make changes to that. Really not all that difficult. I also wanted to point out while we're here, let me go back now that those packages are installing, and I'm going to re-enable my exclude here. I understand there is a way to have drivers rebuilt every time the kernel gets updated, so that may be something I can look into. I want to say it's akmods or dkms. I really don't know enough about it right now, but I know if you try to shut down your computer after you do an update and the kernel has been updated, it will actually make you wait, because certain drivers, like for VirtualBox, are being recompiled, so it doesn't want you to start until their recompile finishes. You can force a restart, but of course you wouldn't want to do that, right? Because you're getting the driver recompiled without having to manually do it, which is nice. Okay. Let's have a look at system settings and appearance. There's quite a few changes we can make. I'm not sure what the difference between Breeze and Breeze Twilight. Let's look at dark. Let's do desktop and window layout as well. You kind of see what I'm saying here. I'm just, for a while there, the dark theme was all that, but I just don't like it that much anymore. So let's go to Breeze Twilight and see what that is. You know, it is what it is. But if we want to, we can download some new themes. And there's some pretty cool ones here that we can select. Oh, that's pretty. Notice the star rating somewhere in here. Show highest rating. Highest rated first. Don't need to look like Chrome OS global theme. Whatever. Sweet KDE. Windows 10. I don't think so. Why would you get a Linux system and then make it look like Windows? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Let's see. I'm not really into dark, but I like the way that theme looks. Oh, look, we can make it look like a Mac as well. Cyan. Let's install it. All right, so it's downloaded. Let's use it. You know. Actually, when I look at it now, I don't really like it all that much. The only way to be sure is to test it, right? All right. Go back into config. So far, I've been happiest with Breeze or Breeze Twilight. But anyway, so there's several global themes you can get. You can change the app style, and you can download more application styles. GNOME GDK here. You can configure the icons and toolbars. So far, I'm happy with this one. This is Breeze. You could do Fusion, and you can get other ones as well. Unix, Mac OS. Some of these are just not my style. So we can't actually organize it by highest rating. But we can have a better look at it. So there's quite a few changes you can make. The Plasma style, if you wanted to. Fedora 37, we're on Breeze right now. I'm kind of surprised we're not on this one, but they look almost identical, don't they? There's Air, Breeze Light, Oxygen. Let's change it just so we can see what it looks like. Didn't really see very many changes. Let's try Breeze Dark and see what happens if we change that. No, I really don't see any changes. What happens if I go back to Fedora Plasma scheme? Well, that's interesting. So there is a change, and it looks like I should have paid more attention to which one was selected by default. This is cool, but maybe it's a little bit too much white for me. What does Breeze Light get us? About the same. For some reason, I really like the Breeze Dark when it comes to the bar down here. and looking at our various applications. I don't know why. I'm an odd contrast, aren't I? And we could get new. I think we looked at this already, but let's find a new one. Let's see what we can get. I like the ones that have partial opacity here so you can see through it. Two and a half stars for most of these. Not the greatest of ratings. Sweet Amber Blue Plasma. Vista desktop theme. I really liked Vista. It was a dog. It needed to be streamlined, but let's install this one just for kicks. But the look I thought was really nice, and I'm sure people are laughing at me right now. Oh yeah, you can see it. However, I do not see through the theme. What else we got? Windows XP. Oh, that's pretty. I like the picture. How about this one? Let's install it. And let's say use it. Okay, so you can see through the bar a little bit there. And there is opacity, or excuse me, you can see a little bit as far as the color changes go. So I actually like that one. I think I'll stick with it, even though it's only rated 2.5 stars, but I think it's pretty cool. Okay, you can change the window decorations. So these are the window decorations. You may not like them very much. Now it says I'm using Sarah, but I haven't seen any changes. Let's get a new plasma style and see if we can see a notable change. Let's install this one, see what it does. And let's say use it. Well, I don't see all that many changes. It basically changed the color here. I expected these to change. Am I in the wrong place? New plasma styles. Yeah, we're not in window decorations at all. Ha! I think it was Sarah that I liked. Okay, Windows decorations. Boy, I tell you, I miss so much these days, don't I? Okay. So they've got some pretty cool ones. This one's only 2.5 stars, but I'm going to install it anyway just so we can have a look at it and see what it looks like. And it is now installed. I think that's the one we just installed. So let's apply it. It doesn't look quite right, and the font I am not a fan of. Something's not right there. Honestly, I'd rather have the original Breeze. But let's try one more. Can we rate it? No. I wanted to rate it by stars. Happy holidays. Somebody actually took the time to make one of those window decorations for the holidays. Gently light color aurora. Let's install it. All right, did it install? did, but why is it dark? Based on what I had seen, I expected it to actually be lighter. Don't like it. I can see why some of these are 2.5. Yeah, most of these are not getting all the greatest ratings, are they? I haven't seen one that's higher than 2.5 yet. So, Sarah Aurore, this one, it says right there that it's a dark theme. I'm preferring the light themes. That's pretty. Now, I noticed that the buttons are really small, and there is a way to make them bigger. Let's edit. Button size, try large. Okay. How about very large? That's about right as far as size goes. I still think I like the Breeze theme the best. So, yeah. All right, well, I said that was the last one. That's the last one. You can make fonts different sizes for different things. You could make the toolbar bigger if you wanted. The menu larger. I wonder if... I just want to try this. Let's just make it really large and see if... No, so this must not be considered part of the menu. We could do adjust all fonts. I think I'll just leave this alone. I'm pretty sure with adjust all fonts, you basically can say, okay, for Noto Sans, we're going to put a size in. Let's do it. Yeah, everything gets larger, except for that. Go figure. Let's see if we can go back to the defaults. Defaults. Apply. And we have icons. So Breeze is the current icon set. Show highest rated first. Let's see what we get. I do not care for these icon styles. I know they're popular right now, but they're not my style. I'm an older guy, you know. I like the older styles. You can change the cursors if you want. I'm going to leave that. Font management, splash screen. This is the default. I'm pretty sure you can add new splash screens. This one's appealing to me. I'm going to go ahead and install it. And close out of here. And that's what it's going to look like when we start up. That's beautiful. I like that it lets you do a test. So real quick here, just to show you the default. Why does KDE put something so incredibly boring up when they could do something like this? Go figure. I'm using that one. I like it. Okay, so those are some of the appearance changes you can make. Normally I do change quite a few things, but right now I'm just going to leave it. But I do want to change the wallpaper. And a lot of time I will go ahead and use picture of the day or something like that. So National Geographic can be interesting. Bing is usually a good one. National Geographic can have some with nudity. If it doesn't bother you, then go for the gold. But for me, it's just can't quite do it. Plus, I have young nephews and nieces, so. Okay. Oh, the other thing I did want to install, and I don't know if I can do it here. Let's find out. DNF install Brave. No argument for Brave. I may have to download it properly. So we do have to install the repository. Let's do it. So here's the key. And the stable repository. So I forgot the S in sudo. We'll just get rid of it since we are already sudo. Added repo. I don't think we're going to go for beta. And finally, let's do an install of the Brave browser. Now if there's updates, because I have the repository here, command not found, eh? There we go. Anyway, with the repository for Brave browser installed, whenever there's an update, it'll go ahead and do the update for me. I've been using the Brave browser more and more because it does, I think, better than Mozilla. It seems to protect you better. So let's see if it's actually installed. Brave. Let's add it to my favorites. Brave web browser. Maybe later. It's interesting that how small the menu is. Let's check out Mozilla Firefox. No, Firefox is fine. But Brave is tiny, huh? Skip welcome tour. I'm not sure why that is. It looks like it's not using the theme as well. It looks like almost it's using what would be a different desktop environment theme altogether. Never had that problem before, so I'm not sure what that's all about. Anyway, I'll figure that out at another time. So with this system, we still have things to do. I want to benchmark it, do a battery test, quite a few things. Let's see how big our file is. Not that big. So I'm doing a OBS capture here right now, as well as with my camera back there. I've tried to stay out of the way so the camera pick it up okay. So that's about all I want to go through today. The idea was to get this thing operational for me. I don't like that this menu is so small. I'm going to figure it out. Probably on another video. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If you're thinking of getting one of these Yoga 6 computers, so far so good. The hardest thing that I had to do was set up the Wi-Fi, but eventually it went smoothly. I just have to pay attention to the directions and do exactly what I'm supposed to do. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. If you really liked it, consider sharing. And I always appreciate your comments. I do want to point out I'm very rusty with Linux fresh installs because it's been years and years and years since I've done one. But it's still there. I'm still able to do these kind of things. And I really like it. I prefer Linux over Windows pretty much every time, hands down. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on Fast Gadgets.